Hello, and welcome to the Franchise Life. I am your host, Stacie Shannon. Today, we have an exciting concept called Splash and Dash Groomerie and Boutique. And with me today, I have Will Siegel, who is a franchise development director for Splash and Dash. Welcome, Will.
Hey, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, I love the pet industry. This is a great area and very desirable area for investment when I'm talking to clients about different segments that they could consider. And I do have to inject, I am a major dog mom of Miles, who is a miniature golden doodle.
Mhm.
So I absolutely have an appreciation for this product, not only because of the services that you guys do, but being able to walk in and the boutique aspect of it also is very appealing to me.
Mhm.
So with that said, can you just go over just a high level overview of what Splash and Dash is?
Absolutely. We are a dog grooming and bathing location with a boutique up front. And really, we are all about efficiency. And we can typically see somewhere between 60 and 80 dogs per day on average because of our proprietary AI technology that really helps run the business. And then our specialized workflow that is unlike any other grooming or bathing location in the market.
That is incredible. Okay, we need to just dive into that a little bit. 60 to 80 dogs a day.
Yep.
How how do you pull that off? How is that even possible?
Yeah, so we've got an AI technology that was developed in-house at Splash and Dash that really works to make sure that all of our employees are being very efficient in their work. So not only with that, with our streamlined workflow model, we've got different stations for different parts of the service provided for the dogs, almost set up like a mini production line to make sure that the dogs are very easily and safely moved along through the services and through the processes at Splash and Dash.
It's still mind blowing to me. I don't even see how that's possible. Okay, so let's talk about the experience needed. So, you know, the groomery is one aspect of this business, so let's focus on that first. What type of experience is needed for the employees of Splash and Dash that focus on grooming?
Yeah, great question. So typically we'll have 1 to 2, maybe 3 groomers, depending on how many dogs that you are seeing on average per day in your clinic. And those groomers, we usually look for a groomer with maybe a year to a year and a half of experience. Somebody that's not set in their ways, let's say, in the industry, that can really adapt to this new workflow model and make it very easy for them to work. We see that the groomers are the skilled laborer in our business. So we want to make sure that they're happy in work. So they really only have to do any of the scissor job. Everything else is really handed off to other employees, entry-level positions in the business.
Okay, so from a production line standpoint, you do not need to have per se licensed groomers for certain aspects of that production line. It's really the cutting only.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. So typically, so this is of course, it's a brick and mortar retail footprint type of concept. You're looking at between 1,000 to 1,300 square feet.
Yep.
Okay, so that's not a large footprint when you're looking at brick and mortar. And to be able to funnel 60 to 80 dogs through that, what does the footprint look like from the storefront aspect, which is the boutique part, which has various supplies, and we'll get into that a little bit. But what does the split of footprint look like from the front end to the back end where the grooming takes place?
Great question. So 1,300 square feet is almost our perfect size. And we typically like to go into A or B plus shopping malls, high traffic areas, strip malls. And you're going to have about 20% of your build out is going to be the boutique up front. And typically we like to assume that about 5% of your gross revenue is going to come from that boutique, whereas 80% of that build out is going to come from the grooming and the bathing part behind the wall. And it's really going to accrue for about 95% of your gross revenue, being that having that boutique up front and selling treats in your location actually makes you an essential service. So, it's one of those things where back during COVID, a lot of shops were shutting down because they weren't covering and carrying treats and things of that nature, but we were able to keep our doors open.
Wow. I never would have even considered that the treats would deem the rating of an essential service, but that is fantastic. So what other product is carried up front? It goes beyond treats though, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We've got a line of, well, first of all, our treats are 7 human grade ingredients or less. So that's something that our CEO and founder, Dan Barton, is very passionate about, is really having quality treats for these dogs. There's not a lot of regulation when it comes to what you're putting into those treats for your pups. So it was very important for him to make something very healthy with human grade ingredients. But we also have, we've got recycled inner tube driven toys, collars, and leashes. Helps us keep a lower carbon paw print, in our opinion. And those toys have a lifetime guarantee. I think I was talking to Dan a couple days ago, and across our 13 open locations, I think we only had 5 or 6 returned in the last year. So they can really hold up to some tough play.
Well, I know I'm a sucker for, even when I go to Home Goods, I'm looking for stuff for the home, and I always stop at the pet aisle for a new toy for my dog Miles. So
you have to.
Yeah. So it's easy for, that additional revenue stream as you're bringing your beloved pets in to just pick up a treat or two or a new toy. So, okay. So I'm going to take just a little step back. This is a concept that was founded in 2008. First started franchising in 2015. And you mentioned, Will, that there's currently 13 franchise locations that are operational in the United States today. With
Yep.
that said, you have awarded over 31 locations.
Mm-hmm.
So what is contributing in your mind to, this growth here more recently in Splash and Dash?
Great question. Well, people are really seeing the need for more grooming and bathing locations for their dogs. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and while I don't have a dog, a lot of my friends have some little golden doodles and dogs that need to get groomed and bathed on the regular, and they're seeing up to 10 or 12-week wait times just to get their dogs in. And that's insane. So really, by people seeing the efficiency and the ease of moving these animals and these dogs, these family pets through Splash and Dashes, we can typically get dogs in 24 to 48 hours to get their grooming or their bathing in. So they're really seeing the need. 46% of the homes in the nation have a pet. They've got a dog. So that means that there's only over 80 million family dogs in the United States. So there's definitely a need for more efficient grooming and bathing options.
So let me ask you this. One of the things that my dog does not like going to the groomer. He, the minute he sees it, he is ready to walk right back out the door, not even enter the door. So what is the typical turnaround time? You've talked about this production line. What is the typical turnaround time once you come in, you have a set appointment for your dog to go through that process?
Yeah.
And on another note, what is your average ticket per group?
Yeah. So we have, fantastically, we've got a bunch of memberships when it comes to the bathing options. So we've got monthly, weekly, or unlimited bathing options, which you'd be able to bring your dog in. I hate to say it, some dogs get a little smellier than others. They like to dig in the dirt and get dirty. So we have those monthly memberships or unlimited memberships on the bathing side. Typically, our non-member ticket average for grooming and bathing is going to be around $90. But our memberships and our grooming are going to vary when it comes to prices, pending size, breed, and temperament of the dog. We want to make sure that we find dogs that fit our business and are really happy at Splash and Dash, and that's really what we want. But typically on an hour, usually if you're going to come in and drop your dog off for a grooming, they will be about a 4-hour wait. But we have actually hard coded the system to make sure that your dog gets done in about 3.5 hours.
Okay. So, I mean, you gave a number of average about 90, right? I mean, there's different things that play into that. And then we've already mentioned 60 to 80 dogs per day. That, I mean, if you do the math there, that's some pretty substantial revenue potential in a given day for a franchise owner.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And we've got some stats that, 80% of our membership goes to the bottom line. So it's all revenue. So it's really been working fantastically. The majority of our franchisees are very happy, and they're making some good money working and owning a Splash and Dash.
So let's talk about the business model a little bit. So this is a model that allows for, I'll use the term semi-absentee or semi-passive ownership, which to an investor means that you could put a manager in place and keep your day job if desired. So in the I guess the license awarded at this point, what is the breakdown, if you know, of individuals who are planning to be an owner operator versus run their business semi-passive with a manager in place?
Yeah, truthfully, I think the majority of our franchises that are owned are semi-absentee in nature. We've got some that we recently just sold an organic 10-pack through the whole Boston territory. And we sold that to a franchisee that has history in franchise systems and knows how to build teams, right? So it's important that you either know how to build a team and really teach them about sales and efficacy. But also, if you want to be involved in the business, I mean, it's a fun place to be. You get to hang out with pups all day long. It's a pretty great situation, in my opinion.
So do you require, and I've gotten caught up in this before when presenting a pet concept to a client. Do you require that your investors own a dog themselves?
So we do not. So
Okay.
in my opinion, seeing as I talk to all the candidates or investors that come through, I mean, I think it's just important that you love dogs or like dogs, right? I don't own a house, so I'm not going to dive into the gutter world. I don't love gutters. So I think it's important for you to really be passionate or at least enjoy the subject matter that you're working in or owning the business in.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's dive into the attributes of this business. You mentioned membership model. So what's really important when somebody is looking at an investment is when you do have a membership model, what that translates to is recurring revenue, which for many individuals, and especially when you have this membership, that allows for foresight into next month's revenue and follow-on revenue throughout the years. So can you just that's one of the attributes, the membership model. The other one that I really like is the ability to schedule online. I am very much a person that I'm going to revert to scheduling on my phone or on my computer versus making a call. So can you talk through, the attributes of the membership model and also the online scheduling for us?
Absolutely. Well, first of all of our memberships system-wide have about a 95 to a 97% retention ratio. So, I mean, people and pups love Splash and Dash. Simple as that. When you become a member, so it's going to be a bathing membership only. All right. But with that bathing membership, as a member, you can get a 5, 10, or 20% discount on all the other services in our shop. So we see a lot of individuals purchasing those memberships because they're going to get them discounts on the higher costing services and get them access to the higher value time slots on our schedule. Because, a Saturday morning is going to be very popular compared to maybe a Tuesday afternoon. Along with that, you're getting priority timing on that schedule. But the bathing options in that membership are really just, they're fantastic.
So you mentioned different services. We've touched on the dog grooming.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bathing membership, bathing membership and dog grooming. But you also have spa treatments, which I'm a fan of adult human spa treatments, so I can appreciate that. You also have aromatherapy. What? Okay, so and then you have the dental service. And I think those cover the different services. What is the aromatherapy? So let's dive in. What does a dog spa treatment look like? And what does an aromatherapy treatment look like?
Yeah, so we have aromatherapy shampoos that are going to be really invigorating and really fantastic smelling for the dogs, open up their sinuses. We also do podicures. So we've got different things where we can rub on their lotions on their paws. It's important to have healthy paws when you're a pup. But really, if you want to be a little bit extra and you want to treat your pups, we've got services that we can provide for that. The bathing side, we've got multiple different shampoos, multiple different bathing styles. So that if your dog does have maybe sensitive skin, we've got some shampoos and we've got different things that we can use with them to ensure that they're not going to get rashes or dry skin. Typically in the bathing world, the number one reason why dogs end up with dry, itchy, scratchy skin is because people aren't efficiently washing the soap off of the dog's hair or its fur or its skin. So with our washing technique, we always make sure that we get all of the soap off those dogs' skin to make sure that they're happy and healthy.
I love when you mentioned this as a fun business. We've heard podicure, which translates to a human pedicure, I'm guessing. I love the twist on the different terminology in the business. So, okay, let me ask you this. If somebody is, falls in love with the concept, they're a new business owner, but are intimidated by the brick and mortar aspect, what services or assistance does Splash and Dash offer from a securing a retail space and ensuring that the space that is chosen fits the demographics and all the data required to make it a successful business?
Totally. Yeah. Well, really, the fact that they're strategic partners with Repum Group is the major benefit, right? So we've got 4 different verticals, but one of them is our Build 'em division. And we've got extremely deep roots when it comes to the project management and construction management. So we're going to have a team member by that franchisee's side from the moment they sign their franchise agreement to the moment they open their doors. That Build 'em division is going to help them with site selection, architecture, permitting, construction. It's even going to possibly purchase some of the raw goods like flooring to make sure that they get that large purchasing discount. Build 'em is really just rock stars in our business. And I think about 35 of the 65 individuals at Repum Group all sit in that Build 'em division. So we've got really deep roots in project management.
Yeah, that is invaluable. Whether you are a seasoned investor, franchise owner, or a new one, that type of support is invaluable. So let's talk about the hours of the business. So is this a 7-day-a-week type of concept, or, are there established days and timeframes that the groomery and boutique is open?
Good question. So typically we're going to have about 9-hour days, and we're going to start off open about 5 days a week. So maybe Tuesday through Saturday. I think it's important to have that Saturday because a lot of people work day jobs and they can't get in to drop their pups off on the weekdays. But as you grow and as you get busier, while 60 to 80 is kind of our average, what we'd like to see our franchisees seeing, we have locations seeing over 100 dogs per day, and they're adding Mondays back onto their calendar. Typically, we like to try and keep that Sunday wide open as a day off, but if you need the space and you need to continue adding dogs because you've got a list of clients, that's definitely something that can be an opportunity and you can grow with.
So there's some flexibility there in essence. I mean, certainly a new boutique, a new storefront is going to open up with 5 days a week, typically, until they grow that customer base. Okay. So from an investment standpoint, the total investment range is between $264,000 and $471,000.
Mm-hmm.
And so can you just talk through a little bit what contributes to that differential in that investment range?
Yeah, well, first off, what I can tell you is we have yet to open up a Splash and Dash for over $300,000. So our corporate team is fantastic at budgeting to make sure that you're not all in the beginning, but you can use some of your net operating income to grow this business as you grow and see more dogs. But really, it's almost always those leasehold improvements. If you go into a second or a third generation space with some plumbing, got some drywall, something that we can work with a little bit more efficiently, it's always going to decrease those costs a little bit from the front end. And Build 'em division is fantastic with working to get tenant improvement dollars and maybe free months of rent to make sure that the financial burden isn't too high before you guys get your doors open in the first place.
So you mentioned the Boston market, you sold 10 locations there recently, which congratulations, that is fantastic. I shouldn't say sold, awarded, because it is an awarding process. What are the focus areas? There's a lot of white space or green space throughout the United States, given there's currently 13 open, 31 awarded. What are the focus areas throughout the United States from a city standpoint?
Well, truthfully, 50% of homes almost have family pets, family dogs. So there's no specific location that we're looking for. We do like the urban setting, the suburbs. So we've got a lot. We've awarded several licenses in the Charlotte territory. Atlanta, we're looking to develop more quickly. Any of those major metropolitan with some great suburbs and a lot of people that just need the support of Splash and Dash to help get their pets groomed and bathed. Simple as that.
Awesome. Well, Will, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm excited to see this brand grow. I say that quite a bit, but there's a lot of fabulous brands out there. But given the retail and brick and mortar storefront at a affordable investment level, those are hard to find, really, and especially in the segment of the pet industry, which is, it is billions of dollars, and this just continues to grow, and people will spend money on their pets. It's a need-based business. But one of the beautiful things about this, even though they need to get groomed and need to be shampooed, those add-on services that Splash and Dash offers only benefits the consumer, the pet, and the franchise owner. So with that said, if anybody is interested in learning more about Splash and Dash, please feel free to reach out to me at Stacie@fusionfranchising.com. Thanks and have a great day.